June 6, 1944, Allied troops invaded Normandy. It marked the start of the battle that would determine the course of the Second World War and herald the beginning of the end of National Socialism. As a young man in the Royal Navy, John Roberts served on the front line.
Over to the left and over to the right, Le Havre and Cherbourg were being bombed a lot. At about 10 minutes before the landings, 300 or 400 flying fortresses flew along the beach. They didn't cross the beach going from north to south. They flew along the beach, dropping 500-pound bombs. And from where we were, the whole beach became lit up. It was like fireworks, non-stop fireworks.
The veteran is now 100 years old. Back then, he was just 20, and by his own account, a little naive.
Dressage? I shouldn't really say it, but I almost enjoyed the war. Not because I enjoyed the war, as it were, but I would have been upset if I'd missed it. If other people of my age had been in it, but I'd not been in it. Being a young man, I wanted to be there for everything.
Only later would he come to understand the horrors of the war and the scale of the devastation.
Those appalling losses are too awful to think of, and yet now we're almost getting near it again.
For John Roberts, the images of destruction out of Ukraine are painfully similar to those from his youth in the Second World War.
I think it's terrible that my grandson could be involved in a war in 6 or 8 months' time. Well, I hope not. I mean, I hope there won't be a war. Both World War I and II, everybody said this is the war to end all wars.
The former soldier is confident that it's the strong cooperation within NATO that has saved Europe from war in recent decades. John Roberts served in the Royal Navy for almost 4 decades. He rose the ranks to Rear Admiral and worked closely with NATO troops.
To my mind, NATO is the most important thing that we have. European nations must stick together. At the end of World War II, I can remember Winston Churchill making a speech and saying that the saviour of Europe in the future will be for it to be together. And that's why I did not vote to leave Europe. I voted to remain.
John Roberts says NATO and the EU must stand up to Russia, just as the Allies once stood together against Germany, to avoid repeating what happened in the heart of Europe 80 years ago.